Okay, cool. We'll jump straight into it. So, if you can just introduce yourself, tell me what your name is and where you're from.
Okay. Hello, my name is Bex. I am 32 years old. I'm a solo mum. I have a 9-year-old and an 8-week-old daughter.
Yeah.
I'm a sister and a daughter and an auntie. And I'm from Upper Hutt and I am a recovering drug addict.
And you're from Upper Hutt, or that's just where you're living?
I was born and raised in Upper Hutt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And what made you want to jump on the campaign and share your story with us today?
So I was encouraged by a couple of people to apply to share my story.
Have you seen the Let Me Speak campaign and things like that?
Yeah. A good friend of mine was in the last one.
Yeah.
She encouraged me to do it as well, and I've done the 12 steps through NA, and the 12th step is about sharing a message of recovery, so it's part of my 12th step to me as well. And I also feel like in my past I encouraged a lot of people to buy drugs and do drugs, and now I want to encourage them to get clean.
Wow, awesome. Okay, well, with all that being said, where does your journey with addiction begin?
When I was 13, my stepbrother gave me my first sesh of weed. I think I had like 6 lungs with the bread bag.
Oh my God, that's
yeah.
taking it old school shit.
So I remember I got stoned and sat at the bottom of the shower with my ears ringing.
Oh.
And then I ate heaps and fell asleep. And then I felt like I wanted to fit in somewhere. So
Why did you feel like you didn't fit in prior to that?
I always had friends. I didn't really get severely bullied up to that age, but I don't know. I always had a sense of not fitting in somewhere.
Yeah.
I was a little redhead and just wanted to be cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you had those lungs?
Yeah. Well, it was all bad. And then I think I had a couple of days without it, and then I ended up trying it again, and then I was in third form at college and started hanging out with the stoners, and we would all wag and put in $3 or $4 each and get a tinny, and I would go knock on the tinny house.
This is just taking me back, man. Oh, it's the same fucking thing.
Yeah. And we'd sit at the creek and have a sesh and then roam around and wag school.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that was me from 13 to 30.
What was your parents in that like?
So I had a really good childhood from what I can remember.
Yeah.
My little old Christian mum, she's so beautiful and innocent. And my dad was a really good dad. And we would go to church every Sunday, and we would go to church camp every Christmas holidays up in Metameta, and would eat dinner at the table and go around the dinner table and say something we liked about the person sitting next to us. And,
oh my God.
Yeah. And then my parents broke up when I was 11 or 12, but they still tried really hard, both of them, to...
Do you think that might have had a little bit of an effect on you?
I think it shook me up a bit, yeah. My secure, stable family, it kind of changed a lot. We grew up in this big house with a swimming pool, and then when my parents broke up, we had to sell our family home, and it was hard to see my mum and dad go through that.
Yeah.
But it was also they were really good parents.
Yeah. Okay. So you've had the weed, you've been bunking and all of that. Where does that take you then?
So I was in a 5-year relationship from about 13 to 18. And that was we were smoking weed and getting drunk at the school at night. And I remember telling my mum that he was just my friend. And
as you do.
Not a boyfriend or anything. And then we broke up, and I moved out of home quite young, 17, 18, because I wanted to rebel, I feel.
Why?
Because I wanted to be cool, I guess.
Back to that fitting in.
Yeah, like I did the whole buying a car, taking the springs out, slamming it on rims, driving around with pink stickers. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I did go to Welltech and got a certificate in business admin, and I had a really good office job. So I kind of was like a functioning stoner, hard out. And then I got pregnant with my daughter when I was 21. Yeah, and I was always anti-methamphetamine, like hated it with passion. And
Why?
I don't know. I think I knew that once you're on it, you sell your soul. And I've seen a few people around me go down that path, and I was just happy smoking weed. And then after I had my daughter, I struggled with my body image and wanted to lose weight. So I started doing Ritalin, sniffing Ritalin, and I got in with a group of people who were always having lines of Ritties. And I was into my Muay Thai. I had a fight in the ring doing kickboxing, and so I would like have a couple lines, go for a run for miles and miles and miles, and that was my thing. And then eventually the Ritalin stopped doing so much of an effect.
Yeah.
And more and more. I remember one day.
Well, your body became immune.
Yeah. I remember one day. I think I'd had about 9 pills in a day, and I'd run a couple of K.
Fucking tolerance is way up there.
Yeah, but I had just finished a big run, and I sat down and I could see my heart beating out of my chest, and I was like, I'm going to kill myself.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but then I met a guy who kind of like encouraged me to smoke crack, and the first few times I didn't feel anything at all, and then he like would give me some to take home, and I showed my friend one day, and he was like, what the fuck, that's hundreds of dollars worth. And I was like, oh, okay. So I sold it and got really addicted to that buzz real fast.
What buzz?
Making money.
Making money, eh?
I think out of all the things I've done, my biggest addiction was making money. Because once you've been in, like, I was in a financially controlling, abusive relationship when I was younger, and it was like, all my finances were controlled, and when you make your own money, it's a buzz to be able to go out and
just to make it so easily,
yeah,
eh? People
so
don't
easy.
fucking realise, you go to a 9-to-5 job, work 5 hours to make $100.
Yeah. You put that in the pokies in a minute when you're hustling.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing to you. But I think as well, when my parents broke up, I saw my mum go from having like an income from somebody else to like supporting herself. And I think she struggled for a while. We never went without, and she looked after us really well. But I didn't want my daughter to worry about money.
Yeah.
And it was really a buzz for me to be able to spoil her. And so...
And at that time when you were selling it, were you taking it?
Yeah.
Oh, you were taking it,
Yeah. I was like, I feel like I was quite functioning. I had a lot of people around me when I got hard out into the selling. I had a lot of people helping me do things for a free bag,
Yes, I know all about that.
Yeah. So that helped me function a bit easier, I guess.
Yeah.
And it just got out of control really fast with the wheeling and dealing.
Yeah.
And, associating myself with the wrong people.
What was, if you can recall, like a typical day? What did that look like for you?
I remember I would always try and make myself have like a cat nap before my daughter would wake up. There were so many different stages. Like I only was on methamphetamine for 4 to 5 years. Yeah. But it went snowballed so fast. Yeah. To like it was like I was sinking in quicksand really fast. And I kept telling myself, this is getting out of hand, But so it's hard to say like a typical day when it was changing constantly.
Oh fuck yeah.
But I would normally take my daughter to school, go out, do all my deals as much as I could, pick my daughter up. Normally found myself associating with other mums who smoked meth. So the kids would play outside or whatever, you'd have sesh, be able to leave my daughter there, run down the road, do a deal, whatever. And then...
Did you know that that was wrong.
Yeah, I knew it. And I remember sometimes I would think, am I going to be like this forever? Am I going to be like a 60-year-old methamphetamine dealer with, you know, and how am I going to teach my daughter to have a successful future if this is what I'm doing? And I kept telling myself, I'll just make 10 more grand and I'll stop, or I'll make 5 more grand and I'll go cold turkey and, you know, move away. Or and before you know it, your house is getting raided. And
is that what happened to you?
Multiple times, yeah.
Do you remember one of those moments in particular? Like, what did that look like?
The last time my house got raided, I'd spent the night at my partner's house with my daughter, and he was on bracelet, and so I picked up his school bag and that, went to his house, kind of slept in that morning, went to leave. She carried my handbag out to the car, and I came out and my battery was flat on my car. I'll never forget it. My battery was flat on my car, and I jump started it, and I said, okay, jump in, let's go. And I said, grab my handbag, let's go. She left my handbag on the footpath, and we got in the car, we drove to my house. I stopped to get gas, and I said, where's my bag? And she goes, oh, I thought you got it. My bag had maybe $5,000 and about 10 grams of methamphetamine in it. I had all these coins in my centre console, and I was like, oh, quickly drop her off at school. You know, I was like, fuck. Quickly drop her off at school, I'll go back and get my bag. So I was right by her school. And then we realised we hadn't brought a lunchbox. And it's just like my life was chaotic, always forgetting shit.
Yeah,
it was unmanageable.
It was one thing after the fucking other.
Yeah, so we thought, okay, we'll quickly go get a lunchbox, drop her off at school. Pulled into my street from the gas station, and there was police everywhere. Oh. My street was cornered off. They waved me over to the side of the road. I quickly tried to put it in reverse, but they waved me over to the side of the road, and I've got a lot of guilt and shame over this day. I gave my daughter my cell phone, and she put it in her pocket.
And how old was your daughter at this time?
7. We got out the car, and my cell phone fell out of her pocket, and they grabbed it, and she looked at me like she felt like she'd let me down. That's how I felt with the look on her face. I'll never forget it. And they pulled me over to the side of the road and put my hands on the fence and pat me down in front of my 7-year-old. And I looked down my driveway, and they were all through my house. And they kind of like read out the warrant to me, that they had a warrant to search my house for methamphetamine and for some other stuff. And they had a warrant for my cell phone, they had a warrant for my vehicle, so they took my keys. And we sat on the side of the road for a little bit, and they found nothing in my house. And they said, well, we need to search your phone. And I said, I just want to take my daughter to school, let me get her, like this is traumatizing for her, let me get her away. And they said, we need to go through your phone. If you give us the PIN to your phone, you can take your daughter to school. And I rang my lawyer on the side of the road, and I said, I don't want to give them the PIN to my phone. And he goes, have you got anything to hide in your phone? And I said, no. But I had like all the apps, you know, Wicker or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And so I thought it'd be safe. And then...
What are those apps that delete the message after so long? Or
Yeah, but it's also like a password to get into that app.
Oh, yeah.
I think my password was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 at the time, which I've learned the hard way.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I was just cooked that.
Yeah.
Always in a hurry, didn't give a fuck. Thought, you know.
Oh, fuck, I couldn't even remember my passwords. I had like 10.
I think it was on a Face ID to get into my actual phone.
Oh,
and so I rang my lawyer, and as I passed him back my phone, it was unlocked.
Oh.
And the cop, I'll never forget it, he said to me, oh, you can go now. And I was like, okay. And I ran down the street with my daughter to school, kept looking behind me, you know, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I took her into the office. I said, sorry. She's like, can I please use your landline? Because they had my phone. And I rang my mate. I knew his number off by heart, and I rang him. And I said, my house has just been raided. Like, I need you to come get me.
Yeah.
Meet me, such and such. So I ran from the school there to meet my friend.
Oh, so they didn't even accompany you?
Nah.
Wow.
But I thought that they would be following me, you know. And my friend picked me up and took me straight to a hotel. And then I sent someone at the end of the day to get my daughter from school. We stayed at the hotel for a couple of days. And I didn't even realise if my daughter hadn't have left my handbag on the side of the road, I would have gone straight to jail. There was all these things that happened like that during my time, and I feel
when that happened, was there anything in you that was like, fuck, I need to cut this shit out?
Yeah. But I always didn't know how to tidy up the mess and leave peacefully, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to get out. I really didn't know how to get out. And I remember sitting in a hotel ringing the lawyer, and the lawyer that I had, because I was already on charges on curfew for minor stuff, the lawyer was just like not answering his phone. And then my friend suggested I ring this other lawyer, so I rang this lawyer that my friend suggested, and she was like a guardian angel. Like, I think she was an angel from heaven, this lawyer. She said, look, I'll ring the police and find out what's happening. And she rang them, and they had my keys to my car, my keys to my house, my cell phone, everything, you know. And I was too scared to leave this hotel because I knew there was shit on my phone. I didn't know if they'd gone into my apps or anything. And then she said to me, they've said that there's a couple of things they want to talk to you about, and to come meet them, and they'll give you your keys. And she goes, but I've got a feeling they're going to arrest you. And I was like, fuck, what do I do? And she says, well, you can't hide forever.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to drag my daughter through it, so I remember I organised to meet the lawyer at the police station the next day, and my mum took my daughter to school, and I kissed her goodbye thinking I could go to jail today. And this lawyer met me, who wasn't even getting paid to work for me at the time. She met me at the police station and took me there, and straight away they put me in handcuffs and put me in the cells and said I was under arrest for supply of methamphetamine and GBL. And every time I got arrested quite a few times, spent quite a few nights in the Wellington cells. My ears would ring, and it was like I could hear my heart beating inside my head. And I just would always panic and think, I'm fucking going to jail, I'm going to jail, I'm going to jail. But every time I got out, I didn't stop. I don't know why. Until eventually Oranga Tamariki turned up at my doorstep.
Only a matter of time, eh?
Yeah. So I was like hanging out with unsafe people. Not unsafe to me, like we had a connection, but I didn't realise at the time that my connection with everyone in my life then was because I was giving giving them drugs or giving them money, or there was something to do with my deals, and I had all this love for people, and I think they loved me back for what I had.
Yeah.
Or
I think there's a part of you that feels as though it is genuine, eh? Like they do give a fuck about you, but the reality is, they're there for the drugs.
Well, it's a buzz, you know. You'll get put together and it's like, I love you, bro, I love you too, bro. You know, it's like, well, where are you all now?
Yeah.
I cut off everyone and don't really talk to anyone from my past now, and I have so much guilt and shame about the days like that with my daughter.
What are some of your regrets?
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it. I feel like I kept her quite sheltered from a lot of it. Like apart from that raid, like there was a lot of things, a lot of scary shit, real scary shit that narrowly missed her being with me. But I think a lot of that was because my mum had her a lot, and when she would go to her dad's every second weekend, I'd try and cram all of it in.
Yeah.
Or I'd send her to my mum's for the night when I knew I had to go do something. And
so even though you were in this drug-fueled, mentality or state of mind, you did in your way try to protect her from a lot of it.
Yeah. I remember I was in the cells one day, and I was with this chick that I knew from that life, and I said, I'm going to go to jail tomorrow. I said, I just want to be with my daughter. She goes, to be honest, she'd probably be better without you. And that hit home for me a lot, that other people probably thought I was a bad mum, but I thought at the time that I was a good mum. I thought, we'd go to Kmart and she'd fill up a trolley full of anything she wanted, and You know, we'd go hang out with our friends and the kids would all play, and meanwhile we're all high. Like I never did drugs in the same room as her or had it around her, but it alters your mind, and it's bringing a lot of bad people into your life, and being like, I shouldn't have been. Someone said to me once, mums don't belong in the game, and I thought, watch me, I'm going to make heaps of money, I'm going to have a real cool car, I'm going to have a real flash house, you know. And then when the shit all hit the fan and I was going from house to house trying to have a bail address that was suitable for my daughter, and struggling to get out of it, I thought, oh, that's what he meant, you know. You can't just, when you've got to take your daughter to school every day and that, you know. I tried really hard to function as a mum and be a good mum and keep her sheltered from it all. And I think the guilt and shame that I have is that I still took the risk. There was a lot of, like, I've been in a couple of home invasions, I've had a couple of guns pulled out on me.
Yeah.
I went to do a deal with someone and they were on home day, and we'd always jump in the car on the front lawn, have a sesh, give him some shit. He always only had half the money, but I'd still, you know, because he was my bro, I thought.
Yeah.
Jumped in the car for one day and he'd rigged my door so I couldn't get out. And I thought, I'm going to get fucked up. But somehow I got out of it, you know, and I thought, I'm associating myself with people that would do these things to me.
Oh, yeah.
And what if they find me when I've got my kid with me? So that's, I hate
And the
myself
other
for
thing
that.
is, to really get to you is to fucking get your kids. Because that's how they think in that world.
Yeah. I dropped her off at her dad's one day and I went home, drove up my driveway, you know, we had the driveway sensors and the cameras, and I put my keys in the front door, ran inside to go to the toilet, came back out to get something out the car, my driveway sensor went off, and I looked up and there was this big scary fella in my driveway. I had just dropped her off to her dad's, and so many things like that happened. It must have been God that kept her safe from it, you know, but I sometimes think,
even having a gun held to your head, you know, don't these scary situations make you, is that not enough for you to get the fuck out of the game? Because I know it wasn't for me.
it should have been.
Yeah, it should have been.
I guess I thrived off the game. I thrived off waking up in the morning, if I'd slept, to like 50 missed texts, everyone wants to meet you for a bag, or people want to come hang out with you because they know you're going to shout a puff.
Yeah.
I felt like I fitted in, and I felt like these people loved me and my daughter, but the more the scary shit started happening, the more I was trying to think of a way to get out and didn't know how. Yeah.
Did what was the kind of pivotal moments after all of everything that you've been through? What was that moment that you were like, holy fuck, this is it, I gotta fucking do something now?
So I was on bail at a house that was not the best. It was associated with some bad people, and like I said before, like I thought they were my bros, thought they loved me. Oranga Tamariki turned up at my doorstep, and I think the police had told them that I was living there with my daughter. To me that was like, fuck, I'm going to lose my kid if I keep going. And so...
Was that the first time that SIFs had kind of showed up?
No. I think I'd had a FGC before that, a family group conference, but I got to keep her. And I kind of like just kept trying to function and be a mum. But that was the time when they actually were like, hey, we're investigating taking her from your care. And so I left that house and went to stay at my mum's house, but I was on curfew there. So the police turned up there to curfew check me, and I got breached, and I was asleep in my mum's bed with my daughter that night. It was the last night I ever got arrested. My beautiful little old mum came and woke me up, and she goes, Bex, the police are here and they said you have to go with them. I was like, fuck this shit. Got up, I was kicking shit around. I was like, I don't want to go, Mum. I'm not going. And there's two cops standing in her house. And Mum's like, I don't know what to do, Bex. And I said, give me a sleeping pill. Because I used to pop a sleeping pill if I'd get arrested so I could sleep through the cells.
Yeah.
Or I'd be a mess panicking, you know. So I popped a sleeping pill and they drove me from Upper Hutt to Wellington. They said, why weren't you at your bail address? I said, it's not safe for me and my daughter, and I want, you know, I'm trying to change. And they said, do you have a drug problem? I said, no, I don't do drugs. To the cops, still denying it, you know. And then I was in cells that night and I was on my knees, and I've got a tattoo on my arm and it says, because of her I will not fail, and it's got a mum elephant and a baby elephant, and that's my tattoo about my daughter. I thought, fuck, I'm failing my kid. I can't do this anymore. And I kind of got like the ultimatum the next day in court,
from the judge
and the cops, like if you get bail or you go to rehab. The cops pulled me out my cell that night and they tried to question me, and I had an attitude, as always. And I said, I don't know what you're fucking talking about. And I said, I just want to be with my kid. And the cop said to me, look, if you get bail tomorrow, do 3 things. Change your lawyer to the lady that had
helped you previously. Yeah.
Be honest with your mum about your life, and go to rehab. So it was like a 99% chance I was going to jail that day because I kept breaching my curfew. I was already on active charges, and I got bail, and I thought it must have been a God job. And I thought that night in the cells, I'm going to jail, I'm not going to see my kid, you know, I just want to be with my daughter, I'll do anything to have a chance to be with my daughter. And from that day, I have never been arrested again. And I left the cells, and they let me stay at my mum's house for 2 weeks on bail. They changed my address.
Bail address, yeah.
And my mum, she organised withdrew her retirement money to send me to rehab. My mum never gave up on me. And that saved my life. She sent me to a rehab called Red Door Recovery, and the team there helped me detox. I slept for days. They took me to get my teeth fixed. It was so hard to be away from my kid, but I was hanging on to custody
by a thread
for dear life. And when I went to Red Door, her dad applied to uplift without notice. I'll never forget it. I rang my family lawyer, and she said, look, there's nothing, your charges are so bad that you're just going to have to like accept that he's going to get custody, and you're going to have to do the supervised visits and fight to get her back. You're on the right track now. Stay in rehab, get clean. She said, it's going to court today. We don't have time to fight it. And I was praying and praying and praying, and my mum was praying and praying and praying, and the family court lawyer rang me at the end of the day, and she said, I don't know what's happened, but the judge wants to give you a chance to get clean and be with your daughter.
Wow.
And so when I left my 4-week residential at Red Door, I got to pick her up from school and take her with me, and my brother and my sister-in-law took me in. Who was like the only number that I really knew off by heart of someone who didn't do drugs. So at night time at rehab, when I had my hour phone call, I would ring him and talk to him, and I hadn't really talked to him for years. And he'd just built a house, and they had a self-contained studio underneath, and I said, look, would you let me come live with you? And he was like, oh, I'd have to talk to Katie because she's not much of a fan. And yeah, they let me go live with them, and because it was like such a safe, calm environment, and they were such, they were a good family, I was allowed to be there with my daughter.
Wow.
And that's when I started learning, he made me sign a contract which was called Learning to Live Again, and it was like
this is your brother?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Drug testing every week randomly, not allowed visitors. I was only allowed a button cell phone.
Yeah.
I got out of rehab, and had to eat dinner at the table every night with him and his family, just stuff like that.
Just kind of reintegrating you back into
Yeah.
what a normal family looks like, eh?
Yeah, so my brother really helped me learn how to be a functioning member of society.
Yeah.
And I was still on my active charges at court, and he gave me a job. He owns a building company, and I was labouring for his company, and was allowed to go to work supervised with him. And my sister-in-law would take me to school every morning with my daughter, and then take me to pick her up. And I slowly, like, I was just, when you get that close to losing,
Everything.
yeah, like I remember I had the flash car, the flash house, all the label clothes with tags still on them. People would come see me and be like, oh, you want a Stussy hoodie? You have a brand new tag on it. Yeah. When I left to go to rehab, I had a couple of bags of clothes, plastic bags of clothes, and my daughter, and I didn't mind leaving it all behind because I had her,
Yeah.
and
for
I just
sure.
wanted her so desperately. Yeah.
I feel the same way. I was like that too. I had that, all that stuff, and now I got my kids.
Yeah.
And it's like you put one on a fucking scale to the other, and it just doesn't compare.
Yeah.
Being able to wake up to the kids, yell. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I yell at mine. It's great.
No, I actually have a really beautiful relationship with my daughter.
So how important, how big of a importance did your brother and sister-in-law play in your recovery?
I feel like massive impact. My whole family, I have such a beautiful family, and I kind of turned my back on them because I was ashamed of my lifestyle, and they, like, my I've got two sisters and a brother, and they're all really successful, and then there was me, and I didn't fit in with my family because of what I was doing, and I was in denial about it, and they all swooped in when I got clean. I think it took them a while to believe that I was serious about it, because
Totally relate.
yeah,
It's like you got a lot of proving to do.
yeah.
Hey.
I still feel like I'm proving myself.
Yeah.
So next week I've been clean for 2 years,
Wow.
and it's still a process of unraveling things. Like me and my daughter are both doing counselling, and I've done a lot of courses, parenting courses and stuff, and I still feel like I'm a long way from where I need to be, and like I still feel like I'm proving myself,
But it's an exciting journey to be on.
yeah.
What does life in sobriety look like? How awesome is it for you?
So awesome.
In what
My
way?
life is so beautiful. I used to stay up all night with people, like with the home invasions and that, I got really scared, so I found I would surround myself with people in my house at night. The biggest thing for me is learning not to be afraid at night time. I'm still quite scared of the dark. When you fall asleep and wake up and there's people in your in the house with guns and masks in your face, that wasn't at my house, at somebody else's house, but you don't trust going to sleep with the door locked. It's not enough. That's the only thing that I'm really struggling with, but other than that, my life is so beautiful. I go to church every Sunday. I have an 8-week-old baby, and I have full custody still to this day of my 9-year-old. I have a job. I'm on maternity leave at the moment, but I am doing a building apprenticeship.
Wow.
And I'm so close with my family. If I'm lonely, I hang out with my dad. My dad and me are good friends. I feel like I let my parents down a lot for a long time, and now they're my best friends.
They must be proud as.
I hope so.
I reckon they are. And what else do you do now? What do you do for fun?
Read my Kindle.
What is it?
It's like I'm obsessed with it at the moment. I read books. It's like an electronic book.
Oh, yeah.
I like gardening.
Do you feel like you needed to kind of find some other things like interests and hobbies and things to kind of keep you busy?
Yep, so I feel like when I first got out of rehab, NA was like my aftercare,
Mm.
and I would go to meetings all the time. It was pretty much all you're allowed to do on Bracelet.
Who put you on to that?
I went to one when I was in Red Door. I went to a women's meeting in Wellington, and I felt so welcomed. And then it's like a new form of socialisation as well, and,
Yeah.
and it's quite healing. You get to go share your story, and I got quite connected with
Some of the other ones here, yeah.
So I've still got close relationships with other sisters in recovery, and made new friends. And I would work, but I just love being with my kids.
No, awesome, man. Hey, before we wrap this up real quick, what's some advice that you would give to maybe other mums that are going through what you went through? Is there anything that anyone could have told you that might have, you know, when you were in that, might have kind of motivated you to get the hell out of there?
My kid was the only reason I got out of there. I've seen a lot of mums, and it's like you're in so deep that you just keep going until you're in jail and lose your kids. But there is hope to get clean and not go to jail and fight to keep your kids. Like I've done it. And you just need to reach out to someone. Don't be scared. A lot of people go to any lengths to find the next hit, but you need, there's a lot of people say they don't have support, or I was really lucky with my family. Like I had lots of support. But there's NA meetings all over New Zealand. Find an NA meeting, or go to a church and ask for help. But just don't give up for your kids.
Yeah.
For your kids. I have such a beautiful life with my children now, and none of the material stuff matters. None of the friends that I had in that life
Compare.
I just love going to bed at night and having my kids.
Awesome, Bex. Well, on behalf of CWK and myself and my mate here, we just want to say thank you so much for sharing your story with us, and we wish you and your daughters a beautiful, happy life.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.